and from a science standpoint.
Definitely. Mark, thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. I got Marc Spears with me from ESPN's The Undefeated, and Bay Area native, Oakland resident, joining us this week on a conversation about race, reflection, and action with the Oakland A's. I feel like now I have a real show, Mark. You're joining us. I feel like Rachel Nichols now. Like you're on the jump.
Man,
You're on MLB's version of the jump now.
Well, couple things. I'm one of the biggest A's fans there is, so you know that, man. I used to go there before they messed it up with Mount Davis, and
right.
I used to go to Safeway Saturdays where you pay that $5 and you get the bag with the hot dog, the chips, the sunflower seeds, and the soda, and the outfield ticket to see Ricky Henderson, man. And we used to come early, take the BART up from Fremont, because I was the closest one to San Jose, and sit out there and watch Ricky Henderson, man. And it's funny now, I know I've been around Ricky a little bit. I'm like, I idolize this dude as a kid, so it's a pleasure to be here. And then, you want to talk about race, that's what we do at the Undefeated.
That's exactly right, man.
Talk about, so.
Yeah, brother. And I just want to thank you for your leadership too, just in the sports journalism world, and for always being a resource to me personally as well, and offering your support, because there's not many Blacks in the executive realm of sports, and also behind the scenes as well, covering the games. So you have been a really important instrument, for many people, through all the different industries and leagues. And we appreciate you and your colleagues as well at ESPN and other networks. Absolutely, my brother. So, man, let's jump right in. I know you're in Orlando right now. You're in the bubble.
I'm in Orlando, but am I in Orlando?
Right.
You know what? Yeah. I'll be honest with you, man. Like, they call Disneyland the happiest place on earth.
Right.
I really believe I'm in the safest place on earth.
Wow.
And it's funny because I have a lot of amazing friends like yourself who are texting me like, yo, be safe, be safe. And I'm like, no, y'all be safe. Like,
right.
Full disclosure, I hadn't had a COVID test till I got here.
Okay.
I got here on July 12th. I had one that night. I had one July 13th. Like, we have them daily.
Wow.
Like, think about it. And we get the results within 24 hours. They gave us this thermometer. They taken our thermometer, taking our temperature daily.
Do you have the wristband too? Show me the.
I get that when I get out of quarantine.
Okay.
So when I get out of quarantine, I get rid of this green bracelet, and they give me that wristband. They also gave us this thing, bro. Like, they got this stuff. It's amazing. This like checks my oxygen level.
Wow.
So I have to give them my temperature and my oxygen level on a daily basis. And then they got this ring that they're going to give us. And I think that might be the ring you're talking about.
Okay.
But it's like this little ring that kind of like tells you about your whole body's health every day.
Wow.
And so we're in this camp, this bubble where everybody's getting tested daily. Everybody's like has to wear a mask. Like, I have a bag over here with 20 masks in it. 20, like, that they've given me. And so, which I'll start using. Yeah. And so if I get too close to somebody, like, this thing will start going off. Like, you're too close.
Wow.
After 20 seconds, if you're within 6 feet, it like, what if everybody had that?
Right.
Like, even one of these, like, I wish everybody could get one of these where, like, hey, man, you're like too close to these people.
So who makes that?
The world would be.
What is that device actually?
It's called Connexon.
Okay.
So it's gonna like clip to the my credential, and if, like, say me and you are standing near each other within 6 feet, inside 6 feet,
sure,
for more than 20 seconds, it starts going crazy.
Wow.
So the technology in here, man. Well, here's the other thing they gave us. It's called an Aura.
Okay.
Which, like, so, and that's the ring that you were talking about.
Okay.
Maybe I'm telling you all these secrets that I ain't supposed to be telling you, but you're my guy, so I'll tell you.
It's good information, man, because
it's fascinating.
It really is. And so, and it's fascinating to see how quickly the NBA was able to put all of that together, you know?
Yeah.
So who's been involved, you know, from your awareness in terms of orchestrating all the coordination with the players, with media? How has this all been working, you know,
It's
coordinated?
it's a huge operation. There's actually a black woman by the name of Rosalind Durant who
Okay.
runs Walt Disney World of Sports, and she's previously actually worked for the uh, ESPN and the NBA and Major League Soccer.
Mm.
Like,
Wow.
so, and they're all here. And she just got on the job in February, and all this stuff happened. So she's been instrumental to NBA. I mean, they're behind the scenes, probably work with tons of like scientists and
Hmm.
medical people to come up all with this stuff. And so I'm to my point earlier, I really feel like I'm in the safest place in America
Wow.
right now, because like when you walk out, everybody's getting tested, everyone's wearing a mask, everybody has protective measures. I love
Yeah.
Oakland, but it ain't like that there. You know
No,
what I mean? Like,
no.
I don't know who's doing what when I walk outside my house. You know what I
Right.
mean? And
Right.
but now here, if you are the lucky few that are here and you're gonna be here, you're gonna abide by the rules here. And it ain't no joke too, man. They're not playing. Like,
Yeah.
we have to abide by the rules or they'll send us home.
Wow. So tell me what's a day in the life right now? I know you've been there for a couple days, but
Yeah.
what is it like, you know, your first 24 hours, 48 hours there? How have you had to adjust to, you know, being in your room, or just give us that understanding of what it's like once you leave your room? What can
Yeah.
you do and what can you not do?
Well, the first week is quarantine. So
Gotcha.
for the media, the players have 36 hours and they've been getting tested before they got here. But for the
Okay.
media, and there's like 15 of us, we get tested daily.
I
And
didn't know.
and so for the media, we get tested daily. And we, like you see, I'm in a room right now for 7 days. It's weird, bro. I get a knock at the door at 8 a.m., at noon, and at 6 with meals that I'm not choosing. They're like giving
Wow.
me meals. So it's funny because it's like half of it I don't want, but they just give you a bunch of stuff. You pick and choose what you want. You discard what you don't want. I mean, and but you don't have no choice through quarantine. They're just like bringing you the food.
Hmm.
And in a sense, we've been quarantining for a while, right? We haven't really
True.
been going out and doing a lot of things. So, and I've been more busy than I expected. So like I haven't been bored yet because I've been really busy.
Right.
Um, so, but I had my PS4 and my dumb self forgot the cord. And
Oh
and
man.
believe it or not, for my age people, my favorite game is MLB The Show. And I'm not
There
saying
he
that
is. There he
I,
is.
I'm in my third season. I play for the Marlins. I'm trying to get traded to the A's. They don't want me yet.
Wow. Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
But I got that. I got my refrigerator next to me full of wine from Napa Valley. I'm a wine head, as you know.
Right.
Um, I even got my Bay Area coffee with me. It hasn't
Very
showed
good.
up yet, but I have my own grinder, my own coffee maker. I'm gonna grind my own beans. I got Mr. Espresso from Jack London.
We gotta send
He's
you
sending me.
some Red Bay coffee.
Send that to me. I'm gonna
Yeah,
give you
I'll get
my
you
address. You can send me some of that.
some.
I got to get some Cafe Santana in here too. But
Right.
I want to make this as comfortable as possible. Make it as much as home as possible. I mean, like, this room ain't the biggest room in the world, but while I'm here, these 3 months I'm here, I want to make it home and do the best job I can. And I'm like really, really blessed to like have the opportunity to be here representing Undefeated and,
Absolutely.
telling a lot of stories about not only the basketball, but on social justice, racial issues, which I think over these next 3 months is going to be, a huge, huge topic with the jerseys, which is on the
Right.
floor, like all kind of things. It's from beginning
Yeah.
to end. I hope that this is something that is like a season long, fist in the air.
Absolutely, man. And thank you for segueing there, because the NBA has been one of the most successful leagues at partnering with their players and allowing for the platform to really speak to what's going on, you know, in our zeitgeist, especially in Black culture, because the league is, you know, predominantly Black. And we look, I think a lot of sports leagues look to the NBA to see how the NBA is responding, right, to social injustice and how we even got the return to play protocols going. The NBA was at the forefront of a lot of that. And I think, you know, it's interesting to see now that you guys are getting ready to come back. Baseball's coming back next week, where we can, and with MLS already being back, what else do you think we can be doing, you know, collectively to make sure this message of equality and Black Lives Matter, et cetera, is sustained, right? Not just through the next few months, but indefinitely, and how we really activate, you know, our leagues. So what do you think about what the NBA has done so far in terms of what players are going to be allowed to put on the backs of their jerseys, and, you know, some players opting out to do that? You know, what are the conversations like down there in terms of how folks are looking at things?
Well, I mean, I love the jersey thing. I know some players are disappointed that it doesn't get everything that they want, but if somebody would have told you a year ago, hey, you're going to have Black Lives Matter on the back of your jersey, you don't want that, you could choose 28 other things, you'd be like,
right,
really?
Right.
Really? In the NBA? And then there's going to be Black Lives Matter on the court, and there's going to be a constant message. I recently watched the BT Awards, and it was pretty amazing to me, because all the commercials had social justice messages, or most of them did.
Right.
And I'm hoping such is the case with the NBA when the games start, that a lot of these commercials, like Procter and Gamble is doing amazing. They've been doing amazing commercials for years. Like, hope we see more commercials like what they're doing, and more PSAs from the NBA. And I hope the players are like pushing their companies. Okay, you're going to have this Nike commercial. Well, in this Nike commercial, I want this social justice message, you know?
Right.
I expect it to be on radio. I expect it to be on television. I expect you to see stuff on the court, on the boards that are rotating. You know, players can have that message on the back of their jerseys if they like.
Yeah.
Chris Paul has encouraged them to talk about it after the game. Now, a week, you know, on July 3rd, 20th, most of the media that is in the bubble will be out, and you have an opportunity, and I say this to the Major League Baseball players as well. No other time has there been an ability to talk to media that wants to talk to you about this. That wants to talk to you about social injustices and reform and police brutality. Like,
right,
for the first time in our lifetimes, in the history of this country, I think the majority of the media want to hear you speak about this, want to hear stories, want to hear pain, want to hear you know, plans for better. So take advantage of it.
Right.
Like, use the media like, you know, we use you. You know, tell your companies, look, if you're going to, you know, promote me, I want this. You know, I'm sure we'll see shoes with messages on it.
Right.
You know, I saw on MLS, they did their own patch where they got to write what they wanted on the back of the patch, which I thought was pretty cool.
Right.
So I think the players all have the ability to keep the message going themselves. In the NBA, there are some restrictions that I think they're going to have, but for the most part, the NBA seems to be listening and allowing them to do stuff. Like, I mean, you ain't going to put F this person on there,
Right.
you know. There's no fight to power, you know.
Right.
I don't see no justice, no peace on there or anything like that, but there are some significant messages that they could use, and the people were saying that they're debating whether they should come or not. I don't think you get a louder message than being here.
True.
You got media with you every day. If you're not here, who's listening to you? Who's talking to you? Like, you got an ability on a daily basis to use your voice to say something, to make change. Like Patty Mills is giving his money to, I think, Black Lives Matter. Like he's giving his salary. Like that's, I know Ben Simmons is about, like, all these guys are going to do different things that are big. And because they are, it's going to get written about and talked about on television and radio. And it's going to get you got a whole world platform here where people are going to be watching, man. The ratings are going to go through the roof.
Totally.
And maybe I'm wrong, but I truly believe that there's some kid out there that is in an environment that perhaps is a racist environment, or they have, people raising them that are racist, and, or, just haven't see the world in a way that's not healthy, but perhaps because they're a fan of, Damian Lillard, and they see what Damian Lillard has on the back of their jersey, that they're inspired to read more,
right,
to educate themselves more. And this ain't, Taj, this ain't our generation.
No, man.
You pick this up and you could get wherever you want with this.
That's real.
You could go on Google search and find any information you want. So kids now can educate themselves in a way that we had them old encyclopedias
right
that had his story, not history, but
right.
Now, oh, okay. Mike Conley has "I Am a Man" on it. Well, let me search what that means. Oh, it takes me to the sanitation workers of Memphis, the sanitation workers strike. Like, they have an ability to educate and to bring awareness that I don't think NBA players for a 3-month span will ever have, perhaps again.
I think you're right. I think you're right, man. And I'm glad you prefaced it this way, because the platform this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, where all of the teams, all the players are going to be in the same place at the same time with all the media, all the national media and local media. Right.
Yeah.
So when you think about how you come out of this, out of the bubble, and you're a player or you're a journalist, what do you think is next post bubble, right? Post season, how does the NBA continue to keep this at the forefront, or do you anticipate it fading, like a lot of other causes do over time?
Yeah.
How does this stay a part of the culture moving forward, especially working for ESPN? How do you, and the Undefeated, do you see this as a recurring theme going forward in your coverage?
Well, that's what we do. So, for Undefeated, that don't stop.
There it is.
Racism ain't going to die. So I think we're going to continue to sadly have things to write about.
True.
But I hope that the same bang that the NBA has going into the season is the same bang they have in the finals. Like, because when the finals come, there'll be an ability to have even the biggest of the audience the whole season. And I don't know who's going to be there, but hopefully when they do get there, the players are still interested in bringing awareness. I think the NBA will do things and have people singing and have people involved that could be on a grander scale, once the finals start. And so, to answer your question, for the Undefeated, we won't stop. And for the players, I don't think they can. They have to continue to keep the march going, the voice going through the end of the season, and hopefully going forward, because this isn't anybody that thinks this is an overnight fight. This is a lifetime fight.
True.
We're going to be dealing with this issue till we take our last breaths. And I think, like, Taj, for your kids, man, like, I'm hoping that the stuff that we've gone through, the stuff that we've seen, for them is just something they read about. Man, Dad, y'all went through that?
Right.
Y'all went through that? Wow.
No, man.
Thank you for taking those bullets for us, literally and figuratively,
Right.
Thank
You're right,
you.
man.
Like, I'm just hoping that, like, these younger kids, man, like, you see those protests in Oakland and things that people are doing. These younger kids give me hope that the world will get better, because They don't care about race as much. They don't care what your sexual orientation is. You know, they care about what's right. They don't care, they
Yeah.
care about the human race, and they care about having a healthier world too.
True that.
Um,
True that.
so I'm hoping that we've been fighting our whole lives, but hopefully they could finish it.
Right. Man, speaking about these kids, there's a lot of talk about HBCUs right now. I
Yeah.
went to HBCU
I
undergrad.
went to one for a year too.
Tell us where you went. Where'd you go?
So I went to Foothill College in Los Altos Hills,
Right.
and
You were
then
hooping, right?
I was hooping. I actually got a scholarship offer to Tuskegee Institute.
Mm.
Committed there, was going to sign there, waited forever for my letter of intent, and then the coach got fired.
Wow.
And so I'm like, I had like some other offers that I gave up in the process because, you know, um, I wanted to I thought I was going to Tuskegee. So the coach ended up telling another coach at the University of District of Columbia and HBCU in DC about me and myself and my cousin, uh, Hakeem Patterson, and actually Desta Owens, who is um, the first cousin of your assistant GM.
Oh, get out of here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
What's
Billy.
Owens' name? Billy
Billy.
Owens'
Yeah.
first cousin. We all went to UDC together.
Shout out to
They
Billy
got
Owens.
shout out to Billy, big time. He should have got his chance in the majors, man. He was behind Cal Ripken, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, I think I met Billy once. But we went out to DC, and like I think for HBCUs, it's great that this kid is going to Howard and Morgan State's getting some people. But
Right.
like I hear
Tell us who that is.
stories,
That's Maker, right?
yeah. But the thing is, for HBCUs to truly compete, they need money.
Right.
They need better
Right.
facilities. They need better locker rooms. They need better traveling. They need better medical equipment. More equipped trainers.
Right.
Like I have a friend locally, Al Gordon. His son was a football player at Hampton, and he was like, there was 6 of us connected to one, machine.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Whereas a typical school would have one person.
Mm-hmm.
He said they didn't even have enough like garbage pails for them to get ice baths. Like
Yeah.
when I was at UDC, like we had to eat. We took the bus everywhere. We ate Shoney's every day.
Right.
You know, we were struggling to make ends meet. There was 3 of us in a 1-bedroom apartment. And to me, that's going to be the challenges. It ain't like that at Duke.
No.
But it ain't like that at St. Mary's. It ain't like
Right.
that at USF. It's not like that at San Jose State. Like, so this is another thing where is this a fad where this guy goes to a HBCU, or is it a one-hit wonder, or is it going to continue?
Yeah.
My thing is, and I talked to Doug Williams,
Mm-hmm.
who used to be the coach at Grambling, and he was telling me stories about how they had to be really particular about who they recruited and how much money they spent on recruiting that guy, because if they didn't get him,
Right.
like it was a devastating hit to their recruiting budget, and
Exactly.
like, so he couldn't recruit the guys that LSU wanted. He had to recruit the guys that the lower division ones wanted,
Right.
just to be realistic, because his money was so I say
Exactly.
all this to say, like, for HBCUs to flourish in the future, man, we got to find some ways to get them, make their arenas the same as all the mid majors or better.
Mm-hmm.
Same training facilities, because if they could get on a level playing field in terms of all those things I mentioned, then I
Right.
think the players will come in mass.
Right.
It's just like, even like when you see the NCAA tournament, man, why is the black school always got to play in?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They don't respect the black schools as much. So
how do we change that though, Mark? I mean, how do we get money to these institutions? I mean, not only, I mean, a lot
yeah,
of HBCUs are funded federally, right?
yeah,
Some are funded also through their states, but corporate dollars. We see Netflix, their CEO, Reed Hastings,
yeah,
he and his wife just gave $120 million to Morehouse and Spelman and the UNCF, but that's only,
To the
drop in the
school.
bucket, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And we love that. Shout out to Netflix. No pun intended. But I think what I'm saying is, you understand it, is that we need a lot more resources, right?
Yeah,
For these schools to be competitive in the classroom as well as on the sports courts and fields.
And I don't get into Twitter conversations, but I did over this recently, and people were getting upset for me for being honest. And look, I want HBCUs to be powers. Right. I want them to have the best, but in order to be the best, they need donations. They need maybe bigger companies to put money behind them, bigger sponsors. So hopefully, in today's world, maybe that company that wasn't listening before, like a Netflix, like, what, we want to help that athletic program. Right. We want to get them to be stronger, get them to be better. And that's easier said than done, Exactly. Because perhaps they're, you got to get not just the alumni to get involved more, but the locals, the companies. It's not an easy thing to change. But if one school can get it done and the next, you know what I mean? Like, maybe there's a trickle down theory. But I just think that it's cool that one guy goes, but for it to be a real trend, make it where we got to figure out a way to improve the facility so that's not an issue. Right. Like, man, do I want to go here? Like I left, with all due respect to the District of Columbia, I left because they weren't offering the classes I needed to go into my senior year. Got you. Like, well, so that, I left for, who leaves a full scholarship for academic reasons? Yeah, I might be the only student athlete ever to give up a scholarship and go home for academic reasons. And it's sad that I had that situation. Right. But I did, and ended up at San Jose State and finished up there. But I could be here talking to you being an HBCU grad right now. Right. But over $1,500 in 3 classes, they refused to pay for it, and here we are. Yeah. Now I'm a San Jose State grad and an LSU master's grad. Right. Well, we got to change that, man. And I'm going to encourage you and your colleagues at the Undefeated. I think we need more coverage. We need more coverage of the HBCUs when they come back. Most of those leagues, I think the MEAC and CIAA and the SWAC, they've all postponed or canceled their fall sports. But I think we got to keep them at the forefront, of the dialogue, moving forward, and your platform is one of the best to make sure that we can highlight. Well, we definitely write a lot of HBCU stuff, and, Maker coming to Howard was huge, and we'll keep writing about that. So I actually think there's of late, there appears to be more and more interest in HBCU stories. So definitely. We're definitely doing that. And I hope 5 years from now, the trend starts changing in terms of I'll say this: there's a major NBA player, young player, whose dad went to an HBCU. Okay. Who said, I didn't want my son to do that because they don't have the best, and I wanted my son to have the best. And his son went to a mid-major. I got you. I think I can. Yeah. So let's figure out a way to, easier said than done, but where that excuse can't be made. Right. I feel you. Well, let's segue on another topic that's really hitting hard right now in terms of the world of sports, not basketball or baseball related, but football. Let's talk about the football club in Washington. And obviously there's been a lot of debate over the years around that franchise and that team being renamed. We know that the name now has been retired as of, Monday? Yeah. So, shout out to Dan Snyder and the organization's leadership for taking this very seriously. And finally, right. And at this point, we're waiting to see what the new name will become. And I've heard a few different Red Tails. There it is. I love that. Beat me to it.
talk to me about what that could mean, Mark, in terms of not only renaming a franchise and then bringing it closer to home to baseball. The Cleveland Indians have expressed a desire also to look at rebranding their name, coming out with something new, as well as the Atlanta Braves. The Braves have said they're going to get rid of the chop as a potential new acknowledgement.
Yeah.
Also,
the Braves said they're not changing their name.
Not going to change the name, no, but they're going to rebrand, is what it sounds like at a point in time, not too distant future. So now let's go back to the football.
Well, I would say, going back to Atlanta, why don't they just change their name to the Brave?
The Brave.
The Atlanta Brave, which I think would be a dope name.
Yeah, that would be fire, man.
Especially when they love singing the Star Spangled Banner, landed a free, home of the brave.
There it is.
I think that would be, and their colors are red, white, and blue.
You heard it first.
That's easy. Just take the S off. Atlanta Brave.
That's an exclusive right here.
Give them that idea. Tell them like that. That would be actually a really dope name.
That is dope. Just take the S off.
Take the S off. I mean, I don't think the locals would even fight it. Like, all right.
That's
Atlanta Brave.
What about Cleveland? What do you think about Cleveland?
You could say the same about Cleveland Indians, the Chicago Blackhawks,
right?
Florida State Seminoles,
right?
It
doesn't stop in Washington.
No, I mean there's certainly more. The one thing that's amazing to me, going back to where we're from, like Stanford, people forget Stanford was the Indians.
That's right.
They changed their name in the early 70s.
Right.
Like, what does that say about that school as an institution, that they were the Stanford Indians and they changed their name to the Cardinal?
That's right.
Like, a lot of people probably didn't know that or don't remember that, but they were doing this when we were babies. You know what I mean? Right. Like, making this change. The sad thing is George Floyd passed away, and the way he passed away was just horrible and atrocious, and it just sparked a response from the world that I would have never imagined. And what the Redskins are doing is part of this response.
Right.
If that tragedy didn't take place, would we be talking about that? Probably not.
Probably not. Probably not.
Finally, like, people are waking up with this horrible thing that happened, and these are one of the few things, like, but in the grand scheme of things, I want that name to change. And Aunt Jemima, like, syrup going away, and Mr. Uncle Ben and all that, that's cool.
Yeah.
But in the grand scheme of things too, like, the changing of the name in Washington is extremely important, but Black folks got some bigger fish to fry than
we do.
Team nicknames. You know what I mean? In terms of just changing society and just, leveling the playing field and getting respect in our own offices, in our own workplaces, where I just feel like for a long time there's been this black cloud. I don't even want to say black cloud no more. Let's say a cloud hanging over us, where somebody gets promoted or someone gets an opportunity and you're like, that's not fair, yo. That's not, and it, a lot of times you can't prove it as racism. You could maybe prove it as favoritism, but you kind of feel like,
yeah, you understand where
you're like, that's what happens, man. And now I feel hope that society's like, look, all this little wink, wink, we're gonna, like, have you train this person and then have them promoted over you. Like, hopefully those days are over. Hopefully the police brutality days start coming at end.
Right.
Hopefully people, like, to me, the walls are closing in on the racists. Why you're seeing all this Karen stuff and other people yelling and going crazy now because the world is changing around them. But it's just like always, they have a thing called The Look. Procter and Gamble. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
It's just a stunning, amazing commercial. Kind of reminds me of me and you a little bit. Like, it basically, to give a quick summary, it's a Black man. He wakes up in a bed, and if you really pay attention, like you could tell he lives in this like expensive high rise.
Mm-hmm.
Then they show him like go to a clothing store, and the people kind of looking at him like, "What's this black dude doing in the store?" He
Right.
goes and gets some lunch at a restaurant. White people don't want to sit next to him. He takes his son in the pool. His son, his child, people don't
Right.
want to get in the pool because two black people in the pool.
Right.
And his son leaves school. He picks his son up. He waves a little, looks like a little white girl in another car. There's a classmate. They're in elementary school. Mom rolls up the window. But then at the end of the commercial, they bring you to a courtroom, and I'm sure people are like, see, like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
this dude's
Mm-hmm.
going to jail for something, and he's
Right.
actually the judge.
Right. Crazy.
And so it amazes me. Like, I got an AA degree from Foothill College. I have a bachelor's degree from San Jose State. I have a master's degree from Louisiana State University. I work for ESPN. I'm a homeowner. I've always paid taxes, but I still get a look all the time.
Mm.
Like, what makes you think you're better than me?
Right. Right.
Just based on me being a big old black dude. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I got off a plane, and so sometimes it's racism, sometimes it's ignorance.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times it's people being a product of their environment. I had an LSU like jacket on a plane one time, and I was sitting in business. I'm flossing right now. I'm flexing a little bit. So I get off the plane, and this guy goes, "You must be a football coach here to check on somebody for recruiting."
Yeah.
And I said, "Nah, man, I actually just got my master's from LSU."
Mm.
That was the end of the conversation. He didn't want to ask me no more questions.
Mm.
I think he was kind of embarrassed that he just
Right.
assumed that I was a
Of
football
course.
coach.
Of course.
And I tell people all the time, I'm like, oh, you play or you a coach? I'm like, no, I use my brain for a living. Not that coaches don't or players don't, but I use
Right.
my hands. I type. Like.
Right.
But it's just funny to me how there are people out there who think that just because they were born a color that they didn't even choose, that they're better than me. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like,
I hear you,
it's
brother.
because like when you were born, nobody said, "Hey, okay, here's a form. Would you like to be Caucasian? Would you like to be black
Yeah. Yeah.
or Indian? Would you like to be Hispanic?" Like, you had no choice.
Right.
So
Right. Don't
what
say.
makes you better than anybody else? Like, so that look has been something that I've seen my whole life. But as you could tell, I got a little mouth on me too. So I won't curse somebody out, but I could curse somebody out without cursing.
Amen. No, my brother, I
And
appreciate that, because what I've picked up from you, over the years is that, you keep it 100, and not only do you keep it 100 one-on-one, but you keep it 100 on TV.
yeah,
And that's the most important thing, is I think when we have opportunities to have a platform and a mic,
yeah.
that you take advantage of it as much as you can, and you've demonstrated that. So let me ask you a question, and I don't want to keep you too long, because I know you got to get back to quarantining in the bubble.
Yeah,
But when we think about Oakland, we think about all the talent that's come out of Oakland, out of the Bay Area. I know you're from the South Bay, but you call Oakland home today as
I've
well.
been there 11 years. Been paying taxes there 11
Yeah.
years. So
Right? Talk to me about the town for a minute, and how you think we can use this moment to transform, the city, because obviously we've lost our basketball team to San
yeah,
Francisco. The Raiders are in Vegas now, and we're left with, the town's team is the A's, right? And we love being the town's team.
yeah,
What can we do to make sure that we're doing everything we can as an organization, the A's, as well as, olive branching to more folks in the community, Black and brown communities, et cetera,
mm,
to really highlight what's going on? Because it's not only a pandemic with COVID, man, but our
yeah,
communities are suffering, right, at alarming rates.
yeah.
So what words of wisdom or thoughts have you had when you're driving through the town, what would you like to
Yeah.
see differently? You know?
Well, I mean, from the A's, I just keep being like, what's the nickname they have? It's
Rooted in Oakland?
rooted in Oakland. Like,
Yeah.
continue to be real about it. Like, I'll say this loud for anybody from the A's listening. One of the best nights I had at a game in recent years is because of you.
Mm.
Like, you did that black, led the charge on a Black History Night.
Yeah. African
That
American
was
Heritage Night. Yeah.
that was amazing, man. And it brought a huge crowd.
Yeah, that was
Huge,
great.
huge, very prideful crowd. There's still a lot of black people in Oakland, but black people came. It was almost like Juneteenth at an A's game,
Right.
and it was an amazing, amazing night. And like all the black stars came out for that, man. And like I
Everybody.
remember seeing Brian and Nikki Shaw were both celebrities in their own right, and you know
Yeah, Joe
that was
Morgan.
beautiful.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
Ricky.
mean, I credit to you and those hats. Like those are collector's items. But like the A's need to continue to do a good job of like promote having those nights, those diversity nights, like a night where Black people could promote their pride. And I think the world is listening to our stories now. But even the Filipino night or the
Right.
Mexican Heritage Night, like Gay
Right.
Pride Night, like all those nights, man, like
API. Yeah.
like
All of
like those are like more special than I think people realize. And because the A's are the town, like I like keep playing that music. That's Oakland music. I want to hear Tony, 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 and Hammer and Diggable Planets and Sheila E. And just Oakland is an amazing city and amazing history, amazing heritage. And I think a bunch of the world is fools to kind of like if people are rubbing their nose on Oakland, they haven't been there or
Mm.
they haven't been there in a long time because
Right.
it's a cool place to be. The restaurant scene is amazing. Getting better and better. Shout out to all my boys, Alamar, Chop Bar,
Right.
Nito,
Oeste.
Oeste,
E&J. Everybody.
shoot, what's the Jamaican place, the Caribbean place?
Oh man. Kingston.
Kingston
Shout out to you.
11. Harrison's Barnes lady is opening up a natural hair salon.
Right.
Obviously, I got to put Kanye, my boy Kanye, throw him down. It's just got amazing heritage, and don't matter what your race is, we just care about you as people there, and we're honest. So whether it's the A's or the city of Oakland, man, I just hope we keep that and just love each other more, man.
Right.
Like we don't need to rob each other. We don't need to kill each other. We don't need to try to take advantage of people, man. There's always a better way.
Right.
Even if there are challenges, like you could always, like they're giving college education and junior college for free now.
Mm.
Like, take advantage of it. Like
Right.
nobody gave neither one of us anything.
No.
And we're here. Like we are testaments that you can make the most out of nothing. Like when I graduated from San Jose State, I had $250.
Mm.
Go make it.
Figure it out. Yeah.
I'm doing
Exactly.
okay.
Exactly.
I'm doing okay. And
Man, yes, you are.
so
Yes, you are. Yes,
I
we
just
are.
yeah, I just think that I hope people, I don't want to see no more black on black crime. I don't want to see no more crime, man. I just want, if this city has a chance to be one of the special cities in the world, I really believe it. Like Lake Merritt is beautiful. Jack London has a chance to continue to grow and be beautiful. Brooklyn Basin is going to be a monster when that opens. Like, and the A's have the chance when they build this stadium, when they get this done. I'm gonna be a regular there as I try to be now. But obviously we can't under the circumstances. And for those that know, like Taj knows, I'll go to a game and sit there and watch by myself.
You will.
Like I'm
You will.
a
Shout out.
baseball head now. So Dave Stewart knows that. Ricky knows
Absolutely.
that.
Shout out to Stu.
Yeah, shout out to Stu. But I look forward to that day when you guys open those gates, man. Because when you do, it's just going to have a huge impact on that whole neighborhood, on the whole
Absolutely.
city. It's just going to be such a crown jewel that will be beautiful for the town. So
Absolutely, man.
man, like let me help put the shovel in the ground. I can't wait for that day. Let me put my hand and feet in the concrete, man.
Absolutely, man.
I'm just like hoping that day comes sooner rather than later. But I'm glad the A's are staying. I'm hoping that this gets done fast, and I can't wait to walk in that with my green cap on, man. That's gonna be an amazing day.
Man, I'm telling you, my brother, we're working on it hard. We're working on it every day. Myself, our team president, Dave Cavill, ownership, everybody on the team, Lydia, Tan, our real estate head. We really want to see it happen. And Dave was really instrumental in getting the Earthquakes stadium built, Avaya, formerly known as Avaya Stadium down in San
That place
Jose.
is pretty for people that
It
haven't been
is.
there.
It is.
Yeah.
And
Very creative,
everybody,
very dope.
it is dope. And everybody got a shovel when they did the groundbreaking. They broke a Guinness World Record with the number of shovels that they had. So that's something we want to do in Oakland again, man. Is so you definitely get a shovel, my brother.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Can I get some swag in the quarantine? Hook a brother up, man.
Hey,
I need the baseball season about to start. I need some swag.
Yeah, July 23rd, then 24th. So we'll be right to go.
Can you go
man.
to the games?
Man, no. We're trying to keep everybody who doesn't need to be in the stadium out of the stadium. So we have baseball set up with tier 1, 2, and 3. I would be considered, I guess, tier 3.
Yeah.
And no, we're trying to stay. The cases, as you know, man, have been going skyrocketing. So
you'll be watching it on TV like me.
Yeah, I'll be watching it at home like you, man. So, we're trying to be as safe as we can. Here locally, California is on lockdown again, as you may have seen with Gavin Newsom announced that the other day. So we're just trying to be safe and make sure everybody's, healthy and the season can continue to start as planned. So no, man, I'll be watching from the couch like everybody else.
Well, I'll be watching it with you, brother.
Well, listen, Mark, I appreciate you, man, for taking the time out, and making time for the hometown team. And, please stay in touch with us. Let us know how we can be of assistance. And
just you doing this is special, man. So, I know it's your brainchild and you're a humble guy, but, kudos to you and your producer, Colette, for doing what you guys are doing. This is a beautiful series that nobody else in baseball is doing, or maybe even in the American.
I don't think anybody in sports is doing this, Mark.
Yeah,
I don't think anybody in sports.
No, be proud of this. This is
Thank
great,
you, man.
And shout out to the A's for allowing you to do this.
Man, this is a total team effort.
That makes my pride in being a fan even more. So
yeah, shout out to everybody at the organization, at the A's organization for getting behind it.
Continue giving out these positive messages. These are for any of you guys that are thinking twice about it. Don't. This is a great thing, and it's a positive thing, and it says it's a testament about what kind of people are really behind that organization. So be proud of this.
Thank you, my brother. Hey, man, look, we're praying for you. Stay safe out there. Too bad the Warriors ain't playing.
Y'all stay safe. I'm just fine. I'm getting tested. Y'all stay safe. I'm praying for y'all too.
Absolutely.
All right,
my brother. Love to the family.
Sending you peace, bro.
Okay.